well, made it inside, right? So let me go close the door. I'll get back with you, okay? All right, as you can see, we're back. I brought out the big coat today, the big guns, right? So, back in the classroom. It's one of those days, right? Everybody's coming in now. We had a 1 hour delay, as I mentioned, right? And so, got back here to make sure I can get to everything that I need to get to. And so, we're going to just come over and take a look and see what's going on. So, I brought some additional work that I have, right? And I'm going to get that out of my bag. Now, this is what I was planning to do on yesterday had I not. Going in to get and make copies of this additional work. Right? Make two-sided copies on different topics to try to help them get through what they're doing. The risk and their payoffs, what is risk, staying on task, fact versus opinion. And I use all of these, I'm going to make copies, and I use all of these in order to have them absolutely go through and figure out what the consequences are. And some of these, I incorporate this into the lesson when I have them in here. And so they'll come in, they'll sit around the room, do their initial classwork that teachers have given them to complete. And if they don't complete that, or once they complete that, then we're not going to just sit in here with our heads down. So, like again, I've said again, the only time they're going to put their head down and possibly take a nap or shut their eyes to regroup is at lunch, during lunch. There's about 30 minutes, because usually they get about 20 during the normal day when they're in class with the regular students, right? And so we come back in here, we'll eat lunch, I'll turn on motivational information or music with my trusty speaker, right? This will blast out as a PA system or additional speaker rather than the actual laptop, right? So immediate results versus waiting, right? And so these are different things I find that I use interpersonal skills section, right? Interpersonal skills, right? Again, that's what we are covering here. You're in a classroom, you need to know how to conduct yourself. Spotlight on me, right? This is a lot of attention grabbing. This is why they act out a lot of times. They're getting attention. They want to be seen. They want to be the class clown, proverbial class clown, as we mentioned, right? Working in group, right? That's the collaboration, the adaptability, collaboration, communication, critical thinking, and empathy is what we discuss with the I can statements that the state of North Carolina has produced for these students to get in the workplace, to be employable, right? Employability skills, working toward the common goal. Again, this would go to the collaboration. Being sensitive to others, right? I find this stuff in the Holy Spirit, it gives me this that correlates, and I don't have to look hard. It'll work, right? Empathy is up there, and being sensitive to others. That's what empathy is. Now, again, these I can statements the state of North Carolina has produced are from grades 1 through 5, 6 through 8, and then 7 through, or actually 8 through 12th grade, right? Or is it? No, it's 9 through 12, right? 9 through 12. Quality foods, qualities of good friends, right? People you associate with, right? We have number 26, aiding and abetting, right? Groups who you associate with, right? Guys, girls hanging out in the bathroom, smoking, doing whatever they're doing. And as I keep telling them, nothing good happens in the bathroom, right? So there's some other sections that I probably won't cover, summarizing. Here's another one. Clear directions, right? Can you follow and or understand and follow clear directions? So this is what we figured out that's important for us to understand, right? Compromising. Compromising is important, right? That's collaboration, communication, adaptability. Improving reading skills, right? Always necessary to improve reading skills, going with communication, right? Communication and comprehension, critical thinking. Can you understand what you're writing or what you're reading, right? Here we have writing on the job, right? A lot of these students, unfortunately, their handwriting, when I have them sign in, it's very difficult to read their handwriting. And because they're used to texting and not doing a lot of handwriting, their printing and or cursive writing is not very well. And you'll see one in between here and there, and I look at it and it's it's nice, right? But by the mass majority, their writing skills, as far as just basic writing, writing the alphabet, writing their name, it leaves a lot, it's scary, right? But so what I have done is I purchased, and I had this in high school as well. I go to these stores like Ollie's, and I find they've got a lot of books, a lot of different types of books. And so we purchased those, and as well, my wife always purchased them for our grandson, right? His reading is off the chart. So I just want the same for these other students, right? I would hate to see any student lacking in those skills, because I know the devastation is going to occur in their life if they cannot actually carry out these simple tasks, math problems, right? And so, as I mentioned, when I was driving in, I'm doing mileage, right? I'm doing my own personal mileage, counting the cost of gas, different things, just like that. It's just one of those things. I have an idiosyncrasy where, I like to kind of track the numbers, right? Now, again, the hypocrisy is I feel very bad in a lot of instances that I'm not carrying over a lot of what I know into my own personal life. And that's the whole thing about physician heal thyself, right? You can tell other people, and as parents would say, do as I say, not as I do, right? But that's not a good thing. So I'm working on it, and some things have happened. So, but you make the adjustment. If you know better, you can do better. Math problems. So everything's a math problem, right? You need to make certain things, be aware of certain numbers and keep track of it. School tasks for success, things that you should do for school for your success, taking notes, right? I have a whole process on a timeline to help them, and I may produce that at some point and send it out publicly through how connecting their personal lives and events in their own life and their family histories and dates and whatever else into history or into just everyday living, right? Because we know what the history was, right? Because it's finite. We've already done that, right? We have dates, times, years, whatever, months. What we don't know is what's going to happen in the future, right? But the correlation is, or the relationship between the past and what happens, history repeating itself, if not identically, somewhat similar, so give you an idea of what's to come perhaps. But nobody's figured out to predict the future. Studying smarter, right? Managing daily assignments. Again, when they come in here, they've got assignments. And I said, a student in here for a partial day is in here for maybe that block, right? Could be an hour. It could be lunch duty, silent lunch, which would be about their 20-minute lunch break, right? Or they're in here for a partial. They come in after homeroom about 9:30, and they're in here until their first block. Or they're in here a full day. Now, a full day on a normal day, right? If they don't come in later today, right? If they come in, if they get assigned a full day, and they're starting that full day the next day, that's about from 9:30 to 3:30, which is about 6 hours. And I've said this before, and I've had them do it, so it sinks in. That's 6 hours in the same room with me all day for either one full day, 2 full days, 3 full days. Normally, I get about 3 full days for the average consequence of any one of those violations of the 26 Student Code of Conduct. And I'll take you around the room again just to refresh. Getting along with authority, right? Again, that's number one, right? Following directions, right? What else do we have here right quick? Where to go, where to get information. Research, right? This cell phone that they can't seem to get rid of and the internet, everything's at their fingertips. YouTube has everything they need. Google, school resources are on their laptops that they have access to. There's no excuse for asking any questions. And so I have a whole handout here, and I'll take you around and show you some of this stuff up close again. I have a whole handout here on the 5 W's, the who, what, when, where, and how, right? So any question they ask, that's the question. You ask any of those, and you'll get your answer. And again, here's that folder, right? And these are handouts that I give them that simply look like this, right? And it's asking who, when, where, what, why. The 5W chart, right? And so I tell them whenever, and I had these in high school, it's just basic information. If you have any questions, this is what a journalist would ask. These are questions, even when there's no, this is the plot to any movie, right? So these are the things that we're working on to try to get them to understand the importance of school, right? These are just, what is a budget? Again, I've said the state of North Carolina has decided, like half the states now, I think, they have to now have, before graduation, by graduation, they have to have financial literacy, right? It's in the state statute, and it's a requirement for graduation now. So what is a budget? So again, me simply driving here every morning, tracking how much my costs are spent back and forth, and keeping a record of that, the mileage and all that other thing. Should they get a job or they're a business person, right? Those numbers will be important. If you are, I can't deduct them necessarily right now. Perhaps I will be here shortly, right? But I can't deduct them. A regular job working can't conduct that mileage and gas. But if you are an independent contractor or a entrepreneur and you're a business owner, and that is your travel to and for job locations, yeah, you're going to need the mileage. You're going to need that documentation. You're going to need to know how much you're spending gas, right? And even lawn care service. I had a lawn care service back in Florida or Miami years ago, Turf Masters, right? I came up with the design and or the name, and I had a business partner, and you have to keep track of all that because you got equipment costs, you know, what it will cost you to rent a vehicle or rent an equipment, and let's say you purchased it now you got to perhaps take whatever the normal rental day rate is that you would normally be paying for that, but you've already bought this equipment, and deduct that information and off that equipment, capital costs, right? So these are kind of things that in every household is a small business, believe it or not, right? And with this budgeting, I remember last year in high school, what I did was I went to all of the local grocery stores and got their flyers, their food flyers. And I have a handout over here with a whole, like a grocery list. And what they then do is they go, let me go get that, right quick. And I go get that grocery list. And on this grocery list, right, they check off all the things that they need to have for that day, right, or on the shopping list, right? They check those off. And then what they would do is they take these newspaper advertisements from whichever store. I had like 5 different grocery stores in the area, and I had a stack of their flyers. And whatever they checked off on that piece of paper was their grocery list. And they would go through these flyers, and they'd find the cheapest prices or whatever it was, buy one, get 2 free, whatever it was. And they'd write those down. And then the math portion, along with the budgeting, they would add them up. And then they would select what type of job would you have to have in order to be able to support yourself, right? Now, with the inflation that we have presently, what are they going to be able to do that will be able to support themselves, right? So the careers, they then figure out, okay, what do I need to do? This is why school is important. You need to know, you need to be able to sustain yourself. Again, back to the student code of conduct, right? These are the same things you will have in your workplace: dress code, attendance. So this is not anything that they're not going to see the rest of their life. And so if they can't get this together now, then this is why we're having a lot of complaints about Gen Z generation in the workspace now, or they're going from job to job, whatever the case may be, right? This work ethic thing, they don't understand. And we've got a society now of where you can't lose, you can't win, there are no losers. Well, sometimes unfortunate things happen. You can't win all the time. And this is one of the things we're trying to teach our grandson. He has a problem with losing. Nobody likes to lose, and you should never get comfortable with losing. But it's a part of life. Things are going to go your way sometimes, and sometimes they're not, right? Rights versus privileges, right? Again, all of these handouts, right, actually correlate to what is being taught. Places to live, nutrition, academic strengths, all right? What are your talents, right? What are you good at, right? And the cliche is, what would you do for free? Whatever you would do for free and not get paid for that, probably what you'd be most successful at, all right? Post-school planning. What are you going to do after school? This is what we're talking about. What are you going to do after school? Once you go through this, you're going to go through grades 1 through 12, and you're then going to be placed in a position of, okay, now I graduate. Or perhaps you drop out. The grades weren't so good, you didn't like school, you hated school, okay? But what you find out is, once you leave or you drop out, now all of a sudden, you need to get a job. Now, on your application, whatever, do you have a high school diploma? That's first base, right? No. Now you got to go back. You spent 1 through 12 years in high school, ISS, whatever, doing whatever. School's not important. I hate school. Okay, all right? Now, you're 18 years old, 19, 20, 21, and you can't find any jobs, right, that are going to sustain you for all of what we're now talking about, inflation and everything else, and now the cost of living. You have no talent, or you haven't used your talent, and you haven't done the necessary, don't have the basic skills in order to function, or even create your own business, right? What are you going to do? Now you got to go back and get a GED or an equivalency test to say you're competent of a certain level, high school graduate, right? That's first base. But you wasted 12 years doing whatever, right? Now you got to go back and get your GED at night or after work, okay? So you're going to pay the piper one way or another. Now, we can complain about how the education system is failed and everything else, and teachers and da. But again, parents, if you love your children, right? Now, you should know from your own history. I know there are things I should have done differently. You don't want your children to commit that or fall in that same trap. And again, they have to touch the stove in order to know that it'll burn them, right? And so no matter how hard you try. And so one of the things, mantras I used to tell my wife and or in church, you can't take too much credit for your children's success, and you can't take too much blame for their failure, right? Because there are a lot of children that come through great families, great parents who did everything they could to make sure that they had every opportunity, and they just go, they do their own thing, right? God gives you free will. This is the deal, right? You don't have to judge anybody. You get a chance to have free will, right? And so this is the key. All right, so that's changing jobs and why, right? There are a lot of people changing jobs, right? Why are we changing jobs now? Yeah, because different issues, social issues. I've gone over this thing with Supervisor Karen, right? That's just a reality. Whether it's Karen or Ken or Joe, whoever it is, everybody doesn't know how to manage people. That's part of the empathy we're talking about here in the collaboration, communication, adaptability. Every manager, every supervisor, just like every judge, every police officer, every teacher, every administrator, whatever it is, no matter the career, every lawyer, doctor, everybody's doesn't have those intangible skills, those people skills. They don't know how to talk to people, whatever they feel like they're superior because of their education, whatever it is, right? If you can't communicate with people and show empathy, at the same time, just tell people, as they say now, keep it 100, right? If you downsize and tell the people that's what you're doing. Don't try to make a person's life miserable and force them out so you don't have to, whatever the motive is, you don't have to pay unemployment, insurance, whatever the deal is, right? There's a way to do things, right? And so on my channel, I talk about the value of integrity. And yeah, a lot of times, integrity also up there on the on our one of our rules. Rule number 3 is integrity, right? And again, integrity is a word that's thrown around. Now, I worked for the Ritz-Carlton some years ago on the 3rd shift, as they call it, after hours, and that 3rd shift overnight, right? And one of the Ritz-Carlton things is, and I don't know what it is today, but I really enjoyed it and got a lot of awards for doing my work, right? It was in engineering. I was painting. I was a painter. And I called myself the Picasso at night, at midnight, right? And so, matter of fact, I remember we get high-profile people through the Ritz-Carlton in Coconut Grove. I opened that location, meaning when they built it in their opening, I was part of the opening. My daughter was a freshman going to college that year in University of South Florida. And so we were able to go get her in, but take her up there. I had to take a day off or 2, and I got the chance to go because we were opening similar that night or that week or whatever it was. Nonetheless, right? The Ritz-Carlton Gold 5-star. I was awarded 5-star a couple times, right? We didn't have to do anything illegal, immoral, or unethical, and that's what I tell these students. No teacher, no administrator, nobody should get you. If they ask you to do something illegal, immoral, or unethical, you don't comply with that, right? But everything else, if they're instructing you to make you better and or telling you to sit down, be quiet, or whatever, follow instructions, right? Because you're not going to be able to go into the world doing the things that you're doing, all right? So right now, I'm going to take you around a quick walk around right quick again and show you what's going on again. So this is everything on the table is what we're working on along with what I'll print out. This is the view. And again, all right, all of the code of conduct, right? We go over that. And again, we've got everything here, the Constitution, right? Periodic table of the Constitution. And again, the students will come in, and this is the classroom again. I'll set up my laptop here. We'll be on the whiteboard up there, right? And in front of them, everything, there's nothing here for them to not have something in front of them. And if they get bored, I say just look up, find something that piques your interest, and simply ask the question, the 5 W's, who, what, when, where, and how. And how, there's a how, right? And so here's my Apple. And here are my files, right, that I have on my desk, right? So this is what it looks like. We're back. And so with that being said, I'm going to go out here and see what's happening now. Again, this is our first day back after the Martin Luther King holiday. And we are now, Monday, we were out for the holiday. Tuesday and Wednesday was absolutely teachers' work days, and a delay yesterday, and final constellation, voluntary come in for a mandatory teacher work day. This morning was a 1-hour delay. Okay? So that being said, we're back in stride again.